Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. All right, let's get started. Hey there, my friend. How's it going? How are you doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are, wherever you're listening to this podcast. I'm your host and coach, Joseph Serfati, and welcome back to another episode of the Mindfully Resilient podcast. And I think it's a very special episode, I would say a bonus-like episode, because I just got off an amazing webinar filled with inspiring stories, hope-filled stories, presented by so many amazing speakers. And this was a webinar with about 50, 60 people on the Zoom call, and I would say a lot more on Facebook Live. And this was organized by my mentor and friend, Sergeant Ken. And the initiative is called Project H.O.P.E, Help Other People Endure. So what this webinar is all about is that it's a free comprehensive webinar workshop that identifies the essential skills that everyone must possess to find fortitude in the face of fear and power over their problems. This program features several inspirational speakers that share their personal stories and profound strategies to triumph through tough times. The main objectives are to encourage and empower those listening, watching, to push for positive perspective with every problem and become the champion of change. It's time to come together and hope. Yes, and this was started roughly in the beginning of April, right at the beginnings of the COVID-19 virus crisis outbreak. And today, May 5th, 2020, it was my opportunity to speak. Yes, I just lived out a BHAG because I consider this a conference. And speaking was one of my BHAGs for this year. Big, hairy, audacious goal. So I finally lived it out. So I shared my story of resilience. I mentioned it in an earlier episode of how I lost my job. I got laid off, and then how I just moved forward. I trekked through. And I found the positive in everything that I could. I controlled what I was able to control. So I shared that and how I overcame the obstacles, especially after the layoff, because it is relevant, and especially in a time like now where a lot of people have lost their jobs due to the COVID-19 virus. So in my talk, I share 5 principles of resilience. I share 5 principles of resilience that help me overcome my layoff and help me ride this COVID-19 wave. To thrive, to be a more resilient version of myself, to emerge more resilient once this is all done. So I'm going to share with you the principles of resilience that I shared with the people listening to the webinar. So the first principle is celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the small wins, no matter how small they are. So today, did you work out? Did you have a small workout? Did you move? Celebrate that. Did you do something with your little ones that enhanced, I would say, the relationship, the love? Did you get that genuine smile? Or did someone give you a nice review? Celebrate that. You know, what I'm reminded of this example, and I say it all the time, is that for those who have children, when your child takes that first step, they fall. But we all go nuts. We go, honey, get the camera. Quick, hurry up. And it's too late. But we all celebrate that. Why can't we celebrate that small step for ourselves? So think about that. Now here's my action item for you on this one. What is one thing today that merits a high five? What is one thing today that merits a high five? Go and give that high five to the nearest person. If you're alone, high five a mirror. Or better yet, FaceTime somebody, Zoom call somebody, Skype somebody. Get a video call going and high five virtually. High five first, explain later. The next one is possess an attitude of gratitude. So when I followed it's easy. Following my layoff, when I connected with a lot of people and I got the support from a lot of people, I was grateful for that because they gave me the opportunity to feel like I mattered. What's great about expressing gratitude, it's been proven in research that it enhances contentment and reduces stress and strengthens bonds and relationships and also helps decrease depression. So, what is that one thing you're grateful for today? What's my action item for you is what made you smile today? What made you feel good? Say thank you out loud. If it's an activity, it's an object. Say thank you still. Thank you for having that opportunity in your life. Or if there's somebody that made you feel great or gave you a good review or smiled or something, say thank you to them. Call them up. And also write it down. What are you grateful for? Express gratitude in a journal. Write it down. Like how my friend and mentor Todd Durkin says, writing provides clarity. Clarity precedes genius. When you write down expressions of gratitude, when you write down in your journal all your experiences of the previous day, positive and negative, and when you write down your positive words of self-affirmation, it imprints in your mind and it creates these positive images that strengthen the belief that you can do it, that you have the power to thrive, to be the best version of yourself through any storm, no matter what kind of storm it is. So write it down. Next one is be comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Yes, when I was laid off, I was feeling uncomfortable reaching out to people, figuring out what to do with my life, sharing my story at the Can't Fit Pro conference 10 days later with total strangers, with people who didn't know me or who are just acquaintances. I shared my story and I received support from them. I received love, genuine expressions of love. The thing is, when it comes to being uncomfortable, we fear rejection, we fear embarrassment. Doing a podcast, public speaking, that brings up feelings of being uncomfortable. But what's great about being uncomfortable is that being uncomfortable encourages growth. It encourages growth. The more you do it, the more you will grow, the more you will learn. Am I right? Remember your first day at a brand new job, how uncomfortable you felt? But over time, you became comfortable. You mastered your craft. You mastered your role in the company or whatever task you were doing, whatever job you're in now. Or once again, public speaking. Remember that first time you went up on stage? Every time I do a public speaking engagement, every time I go and present in front of a group, I have some feelings of nervousness. It's good because it keeps me on my game. It keeps me on my game. It's good to have the nerves and little shakies, right? Because it keeps you on point. What is one thing? Now here's your action item. What is one thing that you're avoiding starting because you believe you can't do it? What is that limiting belief? We all have limiting beliefs that tell us we cannot do it, that we're not good enough, so why bother? Now you're going to take that belief, you're going to acknowledge it, you're going to say, hey, I see you there, stop waving your hand, I see you. Acknowledge it and reframe it. Reframe that belief. Recreate a scenario where that limiting belief does not exist and say it out loud, even when you're alone. Hey, it'll look like you're crazy, but you're alone, so nobody will know. Smile. Smile when you do it. Change that storyline for yourself. Now, this leads into the next one. Release perfection and embrace imperfection. Release perfection and embrace imperfection. So I got laid off. Something happened. I lost my job, or we have this pandemic. Life is not perfect. So what can we do? What is in our control right now? When we seek perfection, we create this tunnel vision. This tunnel vision focusing only on the negative, blocking out the positive or making the positive so tiny you can't see it. You try to paint that perfect picture, meticulously touching up every perceived flaw. And you really never really finish it because it takes you so long. But if you do finish it, will you truly enjoy it? Or will you just be marinated in all the frustration and all the anger because you could not get it right? Will you allow yourself to truly be happy when the artwork, when the piece of work, when the painting is done, right? You know what happens? A lot of fitness professionals, when they present, they make a mistake. Even when I was in a band, you'd make a mistake. People don't know the song well. You make a mistake, you recover, you continue, pretend like it never happened. When I teach a class, sometimes I make a mistake, I give that extra rep. I'm not going to tell them the plan. I don't tell them the plan in the beginning. Because if I make that mistake, they won't know about it and they're still exercising. They're still working out. Even at the same thing, even now, this is more relevant than ever. During a pandemic, while businesses are closed and fitness professionals, for example, or other professionals in the fitness industry are doing a lot of social media lives, Instagram lives, Facebook lives. We start comparing ourselves to others, thinking, well, we need to do this, or you're not good enough. Stop comparing yourself. What they're doing, you don't know what they're going through. Because if they're doing lives, it's probably their means of coping with this whole event. So don't compare it to yourself. What can you do right now? Work, instead of forcing how things should be, work with what's in your control. Work with what they are. In the book Extreme Ownership, written by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, they talk about prioritize and execute, which is focus on what's on your control and prioritize it and get after it. Take charge and get after it. So what small thing can you take control over right now to help you on your journey amidst the chaos? What is the last thing? Now here's my question to you. What is the last thing you did or worked on that you believe didn't meet your criteria of your perceived perfection? Now ask yourself this follow-up question. Did it still yield the intended results? So when, for example, you taught a class, you made a mistake in a couple of exercises, but people still worked out. Did the people work out? Did people enjoy the workout? In your speech, you may have stuttered once or twice. Did you still make that impact? Last but not least, number 5, the 5th principle of resilience, create your choir. Create your choir. Surround yourself with those who make your soul sing, and surround yourself with those who will allow you to make theirs sing as well. Your circle is your choir. And I say it all the time. When I'm at the CanFit Pro conference, these fitness conferences, there's a how would I say it? A nucleus of positive energy overflowing at the convention center. And you just feel the vibes. You can go in with a horrible attitude, but you will walk out of there. You won't even walk out. Before walking out of there, you will be smiling ear to ear. Even so many people in these conferences dripping sweat and sore from doing 300 burpees or push-ups, whatever it is, but they feel great because there's so much positive energy, and that energy leaks in to after the conference. You bring it with you and you impact and inspire those around you. I find that when I surround myself with like-minded people, people who lift me up, I feel great. And my question to you is, who is in your choir? Who lifts you up? Who makes your soul sing? Who doesn't judge you, but helps you on your journey, guides you? Tells you what it is, tells you like how it is, but doesn't judge you, will help you, will guide you. So who's in your choir? Write it down. Write it down. You know what? And give them a call up. Give them a call up. Don't text them. Call them up. Or do a Zoom call, FaceTime, whatever it is. Call them up. You know, I came up with these principles following my layoff and all the experiences I've learned through my mentors, my coaching, my experience as a fitness professional, as a mindset coach, as a personal trainer. And I realized these are principles that I ended up using to help me overcome my layoff back in 2018, overcome or working with managing my emotions during this virus crisis. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I'm managing everything. There are times where I can break down. There are times where I can have moments of anger, but I catch them quickly. I am aware of them. And before they continue, I don't let them linger. I catch them, I acknowledge them. And I say, hey, Joseph, wake up, man. You're just tired. There's stuff going on. You don't really mean it. How can you see it differently? What's your perspective on it? Change that perspective. Yeah, I talk to myself sometimes. I whisper to myself when my kids are sleeping, but sometimes I will talk to myself. So do that. There's nothing wrong with that, because when you say it out loud, you're putting out into the universe. And better yet, if there's things you want to share and that would inspire other people, go on Instagram Live, call somebody up, because once you tell somebody else, they'll probably tell somebody else. Share your message and inspire somebody, and that means your impact has exponentially shot up and impacted so many other people. There will be moments in life when you'll have that overwhelming feeling your world has imploded around you. Some of those moments will be like little blips in your story, little lines. But there will be other moments where it will take up whole chapters or whole sections. It's how you respond to those events, those moments, and seek and uncover the hidden opportunities that define the tone of your journey and reveal the leader you truly are for others, but most importantly, yourself. Who you are today is the sum of all experience, good and not so good, until this very breath. So I hope you enjoyed this little bonus episode of the Mindfully Resilient podcast. Wow. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Apple iTunes, please hit a 5-star rating if you're enjoying the show and leave a nice review. Once again, share this episode with somebody who needs to hear this, who needs to get a refill on the resilience tank, who needs hope, who needs inspiration, who needs a reminder that they're not alone, that they are enough, that they can get after it and have the power to thrive through any circumstances. Help them, and you'll help yourself make that impact in the world. And remember to live every day with joy, curiosity, and passion.